All right, Coach McGarity will be in a second. We'll get started with the players. Go ahead with your questions. Kelsey, why don't you start?
It's definitely a really special feeling. It still hasn't even sunk in yet, just because it's something that we've been working towards, for at least for me, for 2 years now. And we felt like last year was our chance, but this year it just felt right with us being number 2 seed and then Holy Cross beating Navy and giving us the opportunity to host the championship game. It just felt right, and I just can't say enough about the team and how we just really came together and played our best basketball really this season tonight.
Jen, why don't you answer that as well?
You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
This obviously is a very special team, and I'm just so grateful for every opportunity I've had to play with this group of girls right here, and they're just so special to me, and they mean so much to me, and I'm just glad that I could help them get to this point. And even though I was in foul trouble and only played 19 minutes, I still felt like a big part of that win, even sitting on the bench. And the girls who went in and had a lot more playing time than usual really stepped up, especially KK, and it's just a really special feeling.
The win. Yeah, so, I mean, the other two said it all. Like, it's amazing. I can't believe that we got this far. Actually, I can believe, because we talk about it every day, how we have to believe, and we actually do believe. This team believes in ourselves. We believe in the coaching staff. We just believe we put our hearts into everything. Every day we always talk about, PLC, going the big time, and I think believing was the key. And it feels amazing to actually get this far.
Mm-hmm.
Kristen, I thought before the game, you guys appeared very loose. Is that accurate? You guys just comfortable with that?
Yeah, we definitely knew. We knew that we were going to win today. And we kept repeating to ourselves, this is the game that we've been playing all our lives. And nothing is going to change that. We're just going to go out there and do what we have to do and win. Jen.
Other questions for the student athletes?
Jen, this is special for Coach. I mean, he's the link to the past and Maggie.
Oh, yeah.
You guys have to hear when this happened, but he took this program over in a really tough state and now got you guys back to where you want to be in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to play for any other coach in college. I'm so grateful to have played for him these last 4 years, and it's been a rough stretch, not getting past the first round my first 3 years, and then once we finally did, we went all the way, and Coach deserves this more than anybody because he cares more than anybody about this team, and we're just really glad that we could do it for him and for all the other coaches as well.
What's it like for you to have, to battle through all these injuries all year after a good start to last year, to come on late in the season, specifically putting up 7 points in the championship game?
I really feel like it's amazing for me to having the feeling and knowing that I actually, still got it, quote unquote, it really helps my confidence. Earlier in the season, I was kind of in a slump, not really a slump, but I wasn't really progressing. I was just kind of playing. But now that I've actually got a chance to play in a game and I contributed, it really boosted my confidence going throughout the rest of the season. And it just feels really nice to know that I can contribute to the team again. Yeah.
Kelsey, just talk about, I don't think anybody expected you to put up another 49 points tonight, but you seemed to really seize command early in this game. You wanted to set the tone. Was that how you felt?
Yeah, I knew that they were going to come out and try and throw something to get us off our game. And I knew because last game against American, we really set the tone right away, and we came out aggressive, and that kind of set the pace for the entire game, and it kind of gave us control for most of the game, really. So I kept reminding the team that we just needed to come out aggressive from the start and really take advantage of our opportunities. And when we get a stop, try and get a score and try and capitalize off that. So, for me, that was a big part of my focus, was just trying to set the pace, set the tone, and then control the game when we did have control of the tempo of the game.
was the plan to stop Holy Cross? What was it that you guys were focusing on?
Last game, they got a lot of production from their bench. I know one of their players was 5 for 6 from threes. And then tonight, they only had 2 bench points. So that was a big part of our game plan. But really, it was just playing how we know how to play and playing how we got us here to this point in the championship game. And, I mean, it's the same. I mean, it's a championship game, but it's the same game we've been playing all our lives. And you still got to put the basket in the hoop, and you still got to defend. So we had to really focus on the game and not the outside distraction, and just focus on the game plan of just executing on offense, getting defensive stops, and then just really attacking the basket and doing what we've done best this entire season, was just attacking the basket, sharing the ball, creating for others, and just being confident in ourselves.
How nervous were you getting though when Jen was in foul trouble and Jean was getting in foul trouble, and now you're going to bench people? What were you thinking?
I was a little nervous, but our bench really stepped up tonight. They had 18 points, and that was a big part of the game, because some games we don't get as much production off the bench. But when KK came in, when Danny Failer came in, there wasn't any drop-offs, and they came in and did some good stuff defensively with rebounds, and then KK attacking the basket and opening things up. So I mean, that was nice, just to not have a drop-off when subs come in.
Time for one more. Anything else?
What's it going to be like on Monday night, sitting down, watching the selection show?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Much deserved.
Did you mentioned before about how it was tough losing those early round games, but now to accomplish your goal in your senior year. Just tell us about that, Jen.
I mean, it's just something I've worked for all 4 years, and it's finally here. And so I don't think it's really sunk in yet, but it will eventually. And I don't know. I'm so happy. It's great.
All right. Thanks, ladies. Let's go back now.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, guys. Hey, we all set? We have a plan? You guys know what we're doing?
No.
All right. All right, check with the assistants, all right? And, because we got to figure out, we have a little logistics meeting here, okay? So just make sure you don't get that limo down to Manhattan tonight, all right? Okay. Make sure the freshmen are going through the plebe dance or whatever they're supposed to do.
All right, we'll have Coach McGarry make a brief opening statement, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Well, I want to compliment Holy Cross. Obviously, to be playing them in this game was special. I mean, I think a lot of people just assume if we got this far, we'd be playing in Annapolis against the great Navy team. But it was so special being able to get the game here. I know there was a lot of disappointment about the core being gone for the spring break, and I thought our administration did a tremendous job getting people here. I mean, that was a good crowd, considering we all know what it would have been like if we would have had the core here. It could have been an incredible atmosphere, but these kids didn't. They didn't worry about that. I think that they knew that whatever the atmosphere was going to be, they were going to make their own history here tonight. And to do it against a great Holy Cross team, a team that has been, I mean, let's be honest, I mean, this is their 3rd straight championship appearance. So they're obviously doing something right, and I have all the respect in the world for their senior class. Great backcourt, great players. The kid Scott is one of the best frontline players in the league. So for us to come out and execute a game plan the way we did, I mean, I think that the glaring statistic for me is that in their last 2 games, they shot 65% in the second half against Bucknell and against Navy, and we held them in the mid-30s. So, for the game, 34. I think defensively, we did get into them a little bit. They still made their runs. They made some tough shots, but we had the great equalizer. I mean, she's an incredible player. She is about as special a player as I've ever coached in my 40, whatever it is, Kenny, 43 years, 42 years, 32 years as a head coach. I've had some pretty good players, but I don't know if anybody is as special as this kid. And she is just a remarkable young lady. And I can't say enough about what she did tonight. I mean, with Hazlitt in foul trouble, with Parker, who's been tremendous for us over this 7-game winning streak. Parker has made a huge impact for us. But for her just to hold down the fort, take over the game, control the game, make big plays when we needed them. Anytime they were, that one time where it looked like they chipped it down, and then bingo, she gets a 3-point play. So I think she's a remarkable young kid.
Questions?
Hey, Dave, congrats on the win. What do you do with the net that's sitting there?
Yeah, I'm going to weave this into my into a sweater, Doug. I don't know. I don't know why the hell I have the net. It should be up here. What's your question?
I mean, you're the only link sort of that's left.
Sure.
In 2016. That was a nice thing how basically Maggie's looking down and haven't seen this great game.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you to get this team back to the NCAAs after the last 8 years?
Well, I just want to say this. It's the one thing that I was concerned about is when Holy Cross beat Navy for those 3 or 4 days as we prepared, was that all the focus was going to be on that. And I didn't want anything to be taken away from this group, but they embraced it. I mean, they embraced the fact that, hey, the last time we played a championship game here, what happened, how it happened. We told the story. I mean, I told the story. We showed them the story. But we also spent a lot of time talking about this is your time. This is your time. This is your team. These kids were, whatever, 8 years ago. I mean, you got some of these kids were 10, 12, 11 years old. I mean, and some of them didn't even know who she was until they got here. But she's such, part of the fabric of our history, our Division I history. And I mean, this team, though, as special as Kelsey Minato is, this team will go down as probably, in terms of their ability to get better every game, their ability to learn from their mistakes. Every time there was only one time this season where we lost back-to-back games, and that was at Penn, who's in the NCAA tournament, and after knocking off Princeton, and at Ohio State, when I blew the game, when we were up 4 with the ball with less than a minute and 10 seconds to go with a technical, So, honestly, this team just is remarkable. They are now the winningest team in school history. They have just amazed me, over these past 7 games with, the bus accident, the getting back on the bus and going out to Lehigh, coming from 19 down in the second half to win the game by 10, and then going to BU and winning by 27, and then weathering a really tough first round when I think the doubt creeped in, just the incredible devastation of losing that game last year that you were at, Doug. I mean, and Kenny, you guys were at that game. That was tough. And I felt responsible for it. Like, what did I do wrong? Did I get these kids too uptight? Did we build this thing up too much? And it was just the circumstances, I mean, we had a lot of young kids. We started 3 freshmen last year. And Simmers was a great talent, but, in her 2 years playing for me, she had 2 really tough playoff games, against Holy Cross as a junior and then in the Colgate game. And, that's why even though Hazlitt had a rough game tonight, she has been remarkable for us. I mean, through this run, she has, I challenged her. I've been tougher on her than any kid I've ever coached, only because I think she's an incredible talent. She's the most talented kid I've ever coached. I mean, a female coach I've ever coached. And I just wanted her to play to her ability. And at times I think I might have pushed her a little too hard. And I think, that sometimes it backfired on me maybe, but I think it paid off. And I think she bought into it. And at the end of the day, we got it done. We got it done. And she had a big, big hand in it.
Rich in the back, go ahead.
Dave, you're the second coach ever to take a men's team to the NCAA tournament, take a women's team to the NCAA tournament. Doing that, and it's only been accomplished by one other person. How much different are you as a coach, coaching the men and the women, and what are other things that you have to tap into to be successful on the women's side as opposed to the men's side?
Well, I mean, I've talked about this over the years. I think the first thing is the year with Maggie really gave me a great feel for coaching at this level with women. Having my daughter Maureen, having gone through her career, her recruiting, and I had some good feel. I had good feel for certain things, but when I took the head job, I mean, when those girls asked me to stay, and they did, and I told them when I had taken the NBA job that I'm not going to be the same guy. I'm not going to be the big teddy bear, nice guy in practice that's joking around with you, and I wasn't. And we had some tough times. I credit my daughter, Maureen, who was my associate coach, for basically keeping me in check for those first couple of years as a head coach. And if it wasn't for her, I don't know if I would have survived those first couple of years, as you know, Rich. And I learned from my mistakes. I think I pushed them a little hard. We were successful. I mean, my first year we won 24 games. We averaged over 21 wins a year my first 3 years. But this is a tough place, and recruiting's tough, and I'm not using it as an excuse. I mean, you know how men's basketball, women's basketball at the academy is like apples and oranges. It's two different things. And I could go on and on about why it's different, but at the end of the day, I've always said this, and I think, honestly, the truth is I'm not sure I could coach women anywhere but West Point, because these kids are so special, and they buy into a lot of things that I'm not sure other kids would buy into in this generation, in this day and age. And these kids are so focused and so goal-driven, and they just hung on every. I mean, we're doing pregame, walkthroughs and stuff, and out of the corner of my eye, I see Kelsey Minato is like shaking her head. Everything you say, she's just soaking it in, and the rest of them, they're like afraid. And that was my biggest problem, because I'm tough. I'm tough to play for. I'm in Ortner's face. I'm in Shredsman's face. I mean, I expect more out of them. I expect more out of my starting front line than to go, 1 for 7 in a game like this. But you know what? They still rebounded. They did other things, and that's okay. That's okay, because they are selfless, and we need better production. But here we are. I mean, we're here, and you go back to the BU game. My front line was 0 for 9 in those 2 games. So, I mean, somehow we found a way, and that's the beauty of it. I mean, what can you say about Tillett? I think that stat is incredible, the 18 points off the bench to Holy Cross's 2, when Holy Cross is pretty talented kids. I mean, that's a really good team. But we, I don't know. It was our time. It just was our time, and these kids were not going to be denied tonight. And I'm so proud of how they came out tonight, because you wanted to somehow capture the American U performance in a bottle, and I'm looking at Holy Cross saying, wow, man, they you should have seen them against Bucknell. I mean, they were just incredible in the second half. They just blitzed them. And then here comes Navy, who's a 3-time NCAA tournament team with 4 seniors who scored over 1,000 points. And they just blitzed them in the second half. They were down 2 at halftime and won by 20. On the road. So here they come on the road, and they've beaten us here 3 straight times. So they beat us in a tournament back in 12. They beat us last year in a regular season, and they beat us this year in a regular season. So I mean, there were a lot of things that people were like, "Oh, you got them at home." That may not be good. Who knows? But we did what we had to do, and it's been a really just satisfying year for me, and. Really proud of this group.
Dave, can you follow up on the fact that as a head coach, it's been a long time since you got to the NCAAs?
Yeah.
Talk about.
Would you like to talk about what year it was? It was 1987. I was 35. I'm 64. So do the math. It's a long time. I mean, it's a long time, and. I haven't been in a championship game since '92. I took a team who was a 7 seed and lost in Pittsburgh to Robert Morris in '92. And then, after having a lot of success as an assistant at Iona, being to 3 straight NCAA tournaments, and then coming here or going to Marist and taking them to an NCAA tournament my first year. Now, we had teams, as you know, Kenny, that should have been in the NCAA tournament. Certainly the 96 team that lost on a 4-point play with 2 seconds, or the 02 team that won the regular season championship with Sean Kennedy. We had good teams, but you know, that's the beauty of it's the beauty or it's the downside of these tournaments, you know. And what scared me the most about playing BU, coming out of that 7-10 game, was that they had a game under their belt. They had the opening game jitters out. They were nothing to lose, and I had flashbacks to 0-2 with Siena, you know. And that's a dangerous place to be because that team has to win 4 games to get to a tournament. But we're not talking about the game 3 and 4. We're talking about the second game. They got a lot of adrenaline going, and but that was a breakthrough game. I mean, let's be honest, that was a breakthrough win for us.
You've had a lot of wins, but I'm saying, does this validate you? I mean, I know you have so many wins to your credit, but does it personally?
Not at all. Absolutely not. It means nothing. I mean, to me, that means zero, nothing. I mean, I walk out of here tonight, if I lost to this team, saying, hey, this is a great team. We had a great year. I'm disappointed, but come on. I mean, these tournaments are a joke. Let's be honest. I mean, seriously. I mean, let's do what the Ivy League does. That's the right thing to do. I mean, now if I'm the 5 seed, I'm not saying that. So, but I'm just a purist about that. I talk to Mike McLaughlin all the time. He's a good friend of mine. Mike McLaughlin, a coach at Penn, as a young kid, used to come to my camps in Loretto, Pennsylvania. He used to come up in a little checker bus from Father Judge High School, and he's a good friend of mine. A great kid. We talk a lot, and we talk all the time about the Ivy League and how they do it. Well, we're an academic team, league. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's not for me to decide. I just think that I like what our league does. I like the fact that we don't go to some neutral site like my daughter's league does. I mean, I just don't think that, I think that you always should be playing the championship game on the home floor. But I'll tell you what. I mean, I follow the game pretty closely. I didn't have a great feeling in my gut when I'm watching Albany beat Stony Brook on the road. I'm watching this team win on the road. I'm watching American go up and just smack BU in our men's championship game on the road. So I'm like, let's hope this isn't a precedent, But no, Kenny, I'm not a big believer in that. I don't. I mean, I don't think I'm any better coach or any worse coach just because I won one game.
Time for one more.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm just so happy for him. I mean, and honestly, I mean, this may sound patronizing, but if we would have lost tonight, as bad as I would have felt for this team, and I'm not into self-pity here. I mean, yeah, I lose the game, I've lost a lot of tough games in my career. I really have. And I just don't think that I'm any less of a coach or a man or anything else. I just think that at the end of the day, Billy Gibbons went through hell and came back, and he's such a classy guy, and I'm just so happy that he's back coaching in the game, one of the great coaches. Bill and I, were young assistants in the MAC with Army, and he was at Holy Cross with George Blaney. I was at Iona with Pat Kennedy, so we go way, way back. And to watch what he went through was gut-wrenching. It was, to me, my heart just was ripped for him. I just felt so bad for him. And I just feel, I see we don't talk about that, what's going on somewhere else right now, and it really bothers me. So it is what it is. It's part of the fabric of our society today, and I'm just so happy that the Holy Cross administration did the right thing. So that's all I'll say to that.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay, thank you.